We begin today's show in California, where family members of a prisoner who died while he was on hunger strike are calling for an investigation. Christian Gomez was 27 years old. He died February 2nd at the Corcoran State Prison, just 6 days after he and about 30 fellow prisoners began refusing food. They were protesting limited access to legal services, telephones, laundry, nutritious food, health services, and educational opportunities.
Revolutionary greetings, brothers and sisters. All power to all people. This is your Shadow Media Block Report. Our last block report ended on the evening before Brother TC's brainchild, the No Tent-Takedown action took place. Over 40 supporters of Occupy Skid Row and Occupy the Hood gathered at 4th and Town on the evening of February 19th and pitched tents in solidarity with the homeless. City ordinance dictates that homeless people are allowed to sleep on the sidewalk from the hours of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. every morning, they must move and pack up their sleeping bags, tents, and other belongings. On the morning of February 20th, otherwise known as No More President's Day, the homeless and their supporters from Occupy the Hood, LA Community Action Network, and Occupy LA refused to take down their tents in a defiant act of civil disobedience which directly challenged the daily injustices and criminalization experienced by the homeless population.
Woo, it's cold. Police.
What?
Here we go, round two, here we go. Round two!
President's Day, No Tent-Takedown strike. This should be entertaining.
Here comes round two.
The pigs did not show up that morning until 8 a.m., followed by the usual Red Skirts, the private security arm of the business industrial district. These snitches, as they are known amongst our community, frequently overstep their mark by assuming the power of the police to illegally touch or remove residents' belongings or telling them to move on. That morning, the tents remained up and untouched, probably because of the increased presence of cameras and the middle-class white folks of the Occupy movement witnessing the actions of the police and Red Skirts.
That's right, brothers and sisters. Brother Belial is still asleep.
The racist component behind the Safest Cities initiative, which targets a population which is 75% African American, should not be underestimated when it comes to the pigs and the 1% whom they serve.
Behind me is the guys I refer to as rats in shirts. Their job is to observe and report, but they try to enforce the law, which they have no legal basis and no legal grounds to do. All they're doing is arresting poor and homeless people out here. And then when the poor and homeless people in the area refuses to have their civil and human rights violated by these rats in shirts, then they rat out and they call the cops. Just ask them now that they call this LAPD unit to just whip by. We're in violation of 4118. No, we're not in violation of 4118D. 41.18D is in violation of our civil human rights out here. And they enforce that, or they try. When the people do not capitulate to their bullshit, then they rat them out and call the cops. Right now, the LAPD just went by, so we're waiting to see what happens out here. The people are taking a stand. We're not taking our tents down today. And let the chips buy where they will. Peace.
Mike, check!
Mike, check!
Mike, check!
Mike, check!
Mike, check!
And, you know, I mean, we tell the police to go wherever they can go. You know, because the police don't order us around. These are our streets. Whose streets are these?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
We ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere! Nowhere!
We're going to stand because these is our streets.
All right!
We are the homeless.
There goes to
They want to sweep the homeless on the ground and act like the homeless don't exist. So they have us up at 6 a.m. and in by 9 p.m. You know, because they want to sweep us on the rug as if the homeless problem doesn't exist, and it does. They want to act like the penitentiary problem doesn't exist, and they have more penitentiaries in California than they have vacation spots. You know, and then that's where they lock people up at.
Listen, demand. We got one fucking demand.
That's right.
We have a human right to housing as guaranteed by the United Nations and endorsed by the United States in 1948. Where the fuck is it? We use human rights to start wars all over this world. Yet we can't have any human rights here in this nation. Look at this fucking street. Are you serious right now?
Yes, we are.
This is some bullshit, and we're not backing down.
No, we're not.
All power to the people. That's all the fuck I got to say.
People.
Dave, we're talking about a lot of stuff going on with the prison system.
That's right.
We got a lot of comrades that are locked up politically that will not get out unless we fight for them.
That's right.
And that's why today we're doing what we're doing.
But what we're here to do is to protest in solidarity with a lot of organizations and also with California hunger strike prisoners. The prisoners are on hunger strike. They can't be here today. So we're gonna just have some signs out and say some things for them. Sheriff Leah Baca wants $2.66 billion, $2.066 billion to build a new county prison, because they're state prisons now.
Institution.
Yeah, and that $2.66 billion could go to the teachers and healthcare. It can go to a lot of things. We can fix education with it. We can do a lot of things with that $2.66 billion. And I would like to get a pledge for everybody who would like to think about it. And at the end of the day, we just get a pledge together and to take that money and use it for something much better than for another prison. It's a lot of money that they're making. And they're making it off the backs of those, even on drugs. It's very sad giving people on drugs a case. California versus Robinson states that they need, rehabilitation centers. They're not building them. They're building, what you said, which is concentration camps. And that's how they're making their money. And they can care less. And the United States has more political prisoners and more prisoners than any other country per capita. And we need to change that. And we need to reverse people's way of thinking. And we need more education and not penitentiaries. Robberies down, murders down, rapes down, gangbanging is even down, And it's just a shame that they're going to have a campaign to scare tactics to say, oh, let's take that money and build penitentiaries right here in LA. And this is what they're doing because they don't want people like this, cluster bombs of people, like in Tunisia and Occupy London, Occupy Barcelona. They don't want that. They don't want people telling the government what to do with the money because the 1%ers are controlling everything. We are the 99%. We are the people who voted. And it's not just Occupy LA, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than Occupy Oakland. It's bigger than, it's the whole world. And they stole money from everywhere. 1%ers. They're greedy. And they want it all. Yep, they want it all.
All power to the people.
All power to the motherfucking people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people. Now, at 2 o'clock, we're all going to rally up. We're going to march to Twin Towers. We got our mothers, brothers, and sisters. They're going to be rallied at Twin Towers speaking about their children just locked up. And I would like for everybody to join us. Call your friends, have them come join us. Because we need to show our support with our brothers and sisters that can't be out here in these streets with us.
This leads into the real action of February 20th. The Twin Towers march in solidarity with the 12,000 hunger strikers across the United States who've been protesting against the treatment of prisoners trapped in a corrupt and inhumane prison industrial complex which greedily feeds upon the poor, the homeless, people of colour and the undocumented.
Hi, my name is Dolores Canales. Thank you all very much for being here. I speak on behalf of not just my son, but all the prisoners being held in solitary confinement in the SHU units, the administration segregation units. They're being held, and it's all about the money. It's all about the billions of dollars that are being made by these industries to use human beings, to warehouse human beings and put them in solitary confinement for the multi-billion-dollar prison industry doing is taking our money, the 99%, and they're incarcerating our youth. They're incarcerating our minorities, and not just our minorities, but they're incarcerating the money-ority. It is a money-ority issue. It does not discriminate. If you, no matter what race you are, the ADSEG, it will entomb you for 20, 30 years at a time. These men are exposed to no human contact whatsoever. They're exposed to no natural sunlight whatsoever for 20 and 30 years at a time. They are becoming translucent in skin color, and it is defined by CDC that this is not disciplinary actions against them, because no evidence is even against them for most of these shoe trims and these ADSEG placements. Thank you all for being here. Please help, support, stay in touch, write a prisoner, support a prisoner. Thank you.
Up in the Bay Area, inside, outside, we're all on the same side, was the favoured chant of our radical comrades, who made history by protesting outside the gates of San Quentin State Prison with 800 other activists, including Angela Davis, the 3 hikers who were locked up in Iran, and the families of the incarcerated. 5 hunger-striking prisoners who've already given their lives in the struggle.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. And another thing I want to say, I will never, ever escalate Occupy Oakland. We shut down the ports, we shut down everything, and just look at us now, how many people are here to speak for these prisoners that don't have a voice, and today we are their voice. But it's just not San Quentin, it's prisons all over the United States.
A few months ago, we reported to you on a hunger strike sweeping through prisons in California. Now, the strike started in Northern California in the Pelican Bay State Prison, where prisoners stopped eating on a protest for better treatment. They specifically requested better treatment for those in the security housing unit. That's where prisoners are held in isolation for long periods of time. And those confined to SHU are often held in a 6 by 10 foot cell for 22 hours a day. And only a few of those prisoners are allowed out into the yard for a very brief period every day. Now, it's something that I spoke about back in July with a former inmate. So just listen to the way that he describes the conditions in solitary confinement at that facility.
Prisoners who are incarcerated in Pelican Bay and are in Pelican Bay, I should say, actually do not see the sun for decades.
They said despite claims to the contrary, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation has yet to fully address what the prisoners feel are the most substantive changes outlined in their demands. Now, last time the prisoners were on strike, there were many reports that many of them were close to death. So is that what it's going to take this time around for prisoners to get better treatment?
And with that, brothers and sisters, the Shadow Media Block Report urges you to take action in every way possible. Get off the sidewalk and into the street, and tune in for the next installment. Occupy the Hood, Occupy Skid Row, and Occupy LA take over Main Street and hold the first ever Skid Row General Assembly. All power to all people.
Did you say Shadow Media?
Oh yeah, we got Shadow Media everywhere.